Cocky fighters getting destroyed. When it comes to fighting, many fighters are a huge letdown since all they know how to do is trash talk their opponents. And for this reason, it feels so good when they're lowered a few pegs inside the ring. In this video, we will look at 10 moments where cocky fighters are destroyed. So, let's start. 10. Dustin Poirier vs. Bobby Green. If you invite your opponent to strike you by holding your hands and arms out in front of you, don't become angry when they do so repeatedly. Here, Mr. Cocky Bobby Green is acting as if nothing could affect him, when in truth, he was touched by everything. A devastating right jab, the kicks, Dustin Poirier's decision to knock twice right there in his face were all made possible by his open and welcoming arms. Bobby Green is knocked to the ground repeatedly, but he eventually succumbs to being bitten until the referee steps in to declare the bout over. I'm confident that this man will cease inviting professional fighters after taking such a beating. Number 9. Jason R. Solomon vs. Amit Chobi. There is nothing more embarrassing than clowning your opponent and then getting your behind handed back to you in a devastating and humiliating fashion. When Jason Solomon entered the ring to fight Chobi, he came in with a bad attitude. He walked to the cage to jumpy music and an entourage of the tough-looking guys. Solomon danced his way to the cage with complete confidence, pointing to people in the crowd, strutting his stuff, and giving each of his guys a hug before entering the cage. Once inside, he pranced around like a fool, obviously enjoying the crowd's favor, but little did he know that what was about to happen. His opponent Chobi was described as a powerful puncher by the TV announcers, who gave away the outcome. Solomon knew he needed to avoid Chobi's knockout power, but he either didn't do his research or didn't think he could be knocked out. Chobi and Solomon converged in the cage's center at the first bell rang. Solomon was about to throw a combination when Chobi caught him with a powerful overhand that sent Solomon to the ground. One of the funniest fight finishes in recent memory was completed with a succession of the hammer punches, which sealed the victory. 8. Bermane Stiverne vs. Deontay Wilder. Before his battle with Deontay Wilder, Bermane Stiverne spoke at length to the media. He told his opponent to send him home and compel him to retire by threatening to shatter his ribs and jaws before the fight was over. Naturally, it wasn't in Stiverne's best interest to at least beat the man he was spewing such venom at with such harsh remarks. On fight night, though, Wilder exacted retribution by maintaining composure throughout the contest until throwing a jab that sent Stiverne sprawling to the canvas in the opening round. Stiverne continued to make an effort to continue the battle, but after shakingly approaching Wilder, he was once more knocked back into the corner. He tries to fight one last time, but by this time, Wilder is just using him as a punch bag and he is knocked out. 7. Peter Graham vs. Badr. Before the battle, cocky kickboxer Badr declined to shake Graham's hand at the press conference while insulting Graham by calling him an amateur. After the press conference later that day, Poirier had the option to forget attempts to intimidate Graham by not kissing him and forcing him to the ground. When Graham quickly dispatched the arrogant Badr in the ring with a spinning wheel kick to the face and sent him out of the arena in an ambulance, he received another taste of delicious karma. After this, I'm certain he would not dare to threaten his rivals. 6. Ryan Garcia vs. Braulio Rodriguez. It was obvious that Braulio Rodriguez believed he was superior to Garcia even at the weigh-in when he replaced the latter. After Garcia started throwing some punches, Rodriguez's arrogance went into the overdrive since he thought he would easily win the fight. Garcia was able to get a vicious hook and after the two broke free of the hold, which knocked Rodriguez to the ground. Rodriguez continued to fight after a minute or two and started trying to show up by dodging strikes. Later, he performed a dance routine in the octagon and even stuck his tongue out in jest. All fact, it was all a ruse, and Garcia was able to nearly completely remove his arrogant opponent from the ring. 5. Julian Fernandez vs. Frank Sanchez. Another fighter is shown here, exposing his entire body to the challenger and winning. Fernandez, who was pinned against the ropes, merely kept taunting Sanchez, acting as if he were the one doing the striking. I get that, taunting is one thing, while you are winning a fight, but it's quite another when your opponent is crushing you. And that's precisely what this cocky fighter demanded. We meant it when we say that Sanchez, the fighter in red, delivered this package as though it were one-day shipping with free returns. Before he successfully knocked Fernandez out of the ring shortly after the middle of the 7th round, the deft Sanchez primarily hammered Fernandez. Fernandez stumbled and landed on the ring platform between the 2nd and 3rd ropes. The referee began to count, but he soon discovered Fernandez was unable to do so. He appeared weak and disoriented, and I have a good feeling that he was currently re-evaluating his life. 4. Quincy Wesby versus Javier Rodriguez. This is Wesby, another cocky fighter, who thinks he has an advantage over Rodriguez. That wasn't the case though. He is the victim of a powerful left hook in the 5th round that absolutely devastates him and knocks him to the ground. He was so confused about where to go that even his legs started to cross. His stunted body was lying there, possibly perplexed as to where that had come from. It's difficult to tell here, but if you pay the great attention, you can see the soul leaving his body and descending ever so elegantly. 2. Robbie Peden versus Nate Campbell. This is considerably worse than Anderson Silva's "I can dodge any punch" approach against Chris Weidman. Throughout the bout, Campbell was all over Robbie Peden and had fully gained control in the 5th round after striking his opponent in the body. Peden was in survival mode following such a vicious attack, and everyone believed Campbell had the fight under control. But that wasn't the case. With no hope that Robbie would have anything left in the tank, Campbell chose to show off. Peden proved him incorrect by unleashing a flawless left hook that knocked the cocky Campbell to the ground. Battle over. Campbell lost after going from winning to losing in the most unbelievable way. 1. Thomas Williams versus Adonis Stevenson. One of the annoying habits of the cocky fighters is dancing in the ring. Just before the final horn in the battle, Thomas Williams was able to strike Stevenson with a few blows. He became arrogant and began to dance in the ring. He ought to have preserved that energy because he would have needed it to climb to his feet after being knocked out unconscious. Stevenson took the upper hand in the 4th round and began to throw punches, culminating in a left hook that knocked Williams to the ground. He attempted to stand but was unsuccessful in beating the deadline. So, with this, we've come to the end of the video. Which cocky fighter is funny and which one is to be hated? Do you think that cocky fighter will learn a lesson? Comment below, let us know about your idea. Also, for thrilling videos, please like and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.